All right, now let's transition into my game of the week. We have the 7-3 Los Angeles Rams taking on the 8-3 Green Bay Packers. Right now, the Rams are a 1-point favorite to win this game. This game is going to kick off 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time this Sunday on the Fox. The LA Rams are currently coming off a bye week, suffering a 2-game losing streak. They were defeated by the Tennessee Titans and the San Francisco 49ers. The Green Bay Packers are coming off a loss against the Minnesota Vikings, 34-31. And one of the best games that have been played this year in the NFL. The Vikings were up pretty big early on in the game, but like always, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, these are the two only quarterbacks that I know that can will their team back into a game, and that's pretty much what happened. Aaron Rodgers willed Green Bay back into the game, and if you were a Vikings fan, you probably like, oh man, like Green Bay's about to come back and beat us again, but Minnesota was able to find a way to sniff out the victory, even though it looked like Green Bay had all the momentum on their side. Now, for the Los Angeles Rams right now, this is a team that is coming off a bye, and they're kind of in a spot where you got to make adjustments. I feel like every team, no matter how good they are, has a stretch during the season, 2 or 4 games, where they have to make some adjustments. What was having a lot of success earlier in the season isn't really having that much success at this point in the season because defenses and defensive coordinators have started to adjust. I think that has kind of happened to the Rams. I feel like a lot of defenses have started to take notice of what the Rams are doing offensively, and they're starting to find some holes in it. And over the last 2 weeks, the LA Rams have allowed 7 sacks total. That's combined against the Tennessee Titans and both the San Francisco 49ers. When you look at both of those two losses, they weren't competitive. They weren't competitive games. Like, Tennessee basically did whatever they wanted to do against the Los Angeles Rams. Then the San Francisco 49ers were able to do whatever they wanted to do against the Los Angeles Rams. And the Rams didn't really get all that much pressure. And this is with Von Miller playing. Like, he suited up and played against the San Francisco 49ers, and the pass rush didn't really get going. And this is scary because you already got Aaron Donald and you got Von Miller. So I feel like the Rams are still one of the best teams in the NFL. Definitely have some things that they have to work out. Now, when I look at the Green Bay Packers, this is a team that has been through a lot of injuries. They have injuries on the offensive line. Elton Jenkins recently just went down with the injury. You got injuries in the secondary. Pretty much, this is a team that right now you're kind of asking yourself, how is this one of the best teams in the NFL? Well, that's because Aaron Rodgers, once again, is having a MVP caliber season. And when it comes to MVP discussion, like I can understand that people want to give it to Kyler Murray and whatnot, but you definitely got to have Aaron Rodgers in the conversation. You probably could say that if we're giving the MVP based on what the award actually means, the most valuable player, you probably could say that Aaron Rodgers should win it every year. The same way you can make the argument and say that LeBron James deserves to win NBA MVP every year because they're just so dominant. But Aaron Rodgers is having a really good season. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't get mad at you if you said that this year has been a better year compared to what Aaron Rodgers had last year. Now, my main concern is going to be the Green Bay Packers secondary. Now, the Packers have played pretty well defensively this year. Like, this defense has made a large leap in terms of where they have been last season around this time. So for the Packers secondary, you got torched by Minnesota last week. Kirk Cousins was 24-35, 341 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Justin Jefferson had a big day against you, 8 receptions for 169 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Adam Thielen, 8 receptions, 82 receiving yards and a touchdown. And you're facing a Los Angeles Rams offense that has a receiving core that's just as good as Minnesota. You got Cooper Kupp, who has been one of the 3 best receivers in the NFL this year by the majority of NFL fan base out there. I believe that Cooper Kupp has been the best receiver in the NFL this year. They're probably not going to slow him down. I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers secondary once again has another game where they kind of have a performance where they give up a lot of yards to the air. But even though the Rams do have a lot of talent when it comes to the wide receiver position, Matthew Stafford hasn't really played all that great over the last 2 games. As a matter of fact, during this losing streak, a large reason why the Rams offense has kind of struggled over their last 2 losses is because Matthew Stafford's decision making hasn't been the greatest. Like, there was a play last week, I believe, where he was trying to throw the ball to Odell deep, and everybody was looking at this play saying, see, man, like everywhere Odell goes, the offense doesn't do anything. And it really peed me off because it wasn't Odell's fault. Like, Odell wasn't the person throwing the football. Odell wasn't even calling for the ball. Like, Odell Beckham was guarded by like 3 San Francisco 49ers defenders, and Matthew Stafford just decided to throw it to him anyway. And the pass didn't even come remotely close to Odell Beckham, and it was one of the easiest interceptions that you're probably ever going to see a quarterback throw on this level. So Matthew Stafford's decision making hasn't really been the greatest during this 2-game losing streak. Hopefully him and Sean McVay have been watching and going over the film, and they've been making some tweaks and they've been making some adjustments. The offensive line also has to play better as well, because the offensive line hasn't really done Matthew Stafford any favors in terms of giving him time to throw the football downfield. Now, for Green Bay offensively, we're still probably going to see a lot of A.J. Dillon. Don't think Aaron Jones is going to be able to play. He's still battling an injury that he suffered not too long ago. But when I look at this Rams defense, okay, this Rams defense is still playing at a really elite level, regardless of what the stats may indicate. And for Packers fans, coming off a bye week is a time that I wouldn't want to play the Rams at all, because now they're going to heal up. They're going to be at 100%. And I think it's only a matter of time before we start to see their newly acquired acquisitions, like the acquisition of trading for Von Miller and signing Odell Beckham, start to take place. I do expect those 2 players to start to have somewhat of an impact, rather that be Von Miller on defense, or rather that be Odell Beckham on the offensive side of things, because I feel like the Rams picked them up for a reason. They're going to start to find ways to start getting them involved, and I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see Von Miller start to have an impact in this game when you look at how beat up and beat down the offensive line is for the Green Bay Packers. And if there was a game for this Rams defense to really take over, I definitely feel like it would be against the Green Bay Packers, because the Green Bay Packers have got into some slugfest this year, and a lot of people haven't really been talking about because of how dominant they've been. But I definitely feel like this probably is the most talented defense that Green Bay has faced so far this year. And you can say, well, JT, what about week 1 when they faced off against the New Orleans Saints? Yeah, that's week 1, but you got to take rust in. Right now, you got to go off the eye test. And right now, I feel like this Rams defense is going to end up having a pretty solid performance, or they could potentially have a big performance against this Packers offense. So my prediction for this game, I'm going to take the Rams. The Rams are coming off a bye. They're going to be healthy. They're the more healthy team. Meanwhile, you're kind of facing a beat-up Green Bay Packers team right now. Aaron Rodgers has a foot injury, so we don't really know how that's going to affect his performance in this game. Offensive line also is dealing with some injuries. So I think with the Rams coming off a bye week, I don't see them dropping 3 games in a row. I feel like they're going to be able to make the needed adjustments to win this game coming off this bye. They're the more healthy team. I got to take the LA Rams to get the victory. I say they win this one 27-20 is my final score prediction in this game. I don't feel like this is going to be a game where Green Bay gets dominated just because they have Aaron Rodgers. There hasn't really been a lot of games during Aaron Rodgers' career in Green Bay when Green Bay has simply went into a game and they've been, just blown out the building. But I do feel like the Rams should take control of this game midway through the third quarter. So I'm taking the Rams. You guys let me know who you guys have winning this game down in the comment section down below if you are watching this on YouTube.